and Paradise Lost has absolutely flown from the gates. He's bolting clear.
Fucking come on, Rookie! Go!
2, 3, and 4 lengths.
Oh, fuck, absolute fucking bollocks, Yiannis! Fucking listen to you, lads.
It was just a freak race. If they ran that race 100 times over, our horse would have won 99 times. We were just unlucky. No one predicted the winner of that race, no one.
Jack.
The character that I play is Jack Cameron. So he's sort of it's all based over one day space of someone that's down on his luck, willing to sort of put his life on the line. Basically, he sort of don't care. He's not really bothered about what's going on. He's not really scared of anyone. And things ain't going too well for him basically, and he's a bit of a depressing type of fella, really, and I would say that he's a bit unhinged as well in a way, of not really someone that's got a lot of sort of ambition to be around for too much longer.
I wish I could, mate. I'm skint.
No, it's not money, mate. I make my own money.
What do you want from me then?
Well, look, I know you know a lot of people, some nicer than the others, and I was wondering if you could introduce some of the others, if you know what I mean.
Sorry, mate. You completely lost me.
I need to buy a gun.
What?
Yiannis was a former factory owner, so he had employees in the rag trade for many years. The business went under, he probably liquidated and found himself out of a job, no longer in control of an empire that he might have controlled at one time. So to lose your status and then maybe have to go looking for another job when you're a certain age and no one wants to know, and also to have a certain sense of pride about yourself as the person that you once were. You realise you're no longer that person, your kingdom has fallen down. Where do you find yourself after something like that? And I know people that have gone through that, and particularly in the Greek community. Yiannis is a Greek, so at some point he would have a lot of associates that would have known him when he was sort of on his roller coaster ride, and he would have been driving Mercs or Jaguars, lived in a really nice house, all of that. So that's all gone, and I think in the bookies, the people that he associates with are people that would have normally been someone that he might have not, had conversations with in the past, but they become his world. They become what he thinks, people that are going to look up to him and take his advice and maybe make him get that essence of superiority that he would have had before. He needs to feel that. So with Ian and Jack, he's got the perfect balance of two youngsters that he thinks might look up to him.
I think he was probably the character that, sometimes we had shit days, sometimes we had great days, but I think he was the character that kept the energy up on set. I mean, and, for me, it was draining.
Here's a long shot.
And they're off. And Blue Cadet, the favourite, is off to a great start.
He leads the way from Gone the Grafter racing in second. They're pretty closely packed up here. Blue Cadet, though, in front. Gone the Grafter.
For me, it was 100 miles an hour, running up and down. Before I start shooting the scene, I had to run up the bookies. Get right into it, get myself some energy going. But then this has got to keep going the whole way through. And to be fair, I spent most of the time on set, even when we're out, when we're not shooting, sitting lunch break, whatever. I stayed in character. And to be fair, I think most of us did. I still call Andreas Yiannis. And Tommy Jack, it's just the way it was. We stayed in character, basically, from the time we got on set in the morning. We basically stayed in character until the end of the day. And for me, this is just me, because, you can call me lazy, whatever you want to do. But it was fucking hard work. I found it hard work. But brilliant.
The closing stages here. Heaven Sent and Envy now go on.
Come on!
Just in front. Heaven Sent going to rally as they race towards the line here. Envy and Heaven Sent having a real battle as they go to the line.
Yes!
know what? I've never been into gambling. You know, I don't know what it is. I never got into the gambling thing, but I think I could definitely, yeah. Like I don't, you know, I don't go. Yeah, I mean, I didn't go and study like roulette machines or anything like that. I kind of just realised that actually this is someone that's, you know, I felt like that at times. You know what I mean? In my life, I felt sad and I felt like, you know, I can't be bothered, you know, or I don't care. Do you know what I mean? So I thought of times of what made me feel like that. And when I read the script, I realised that I kind of know what's going on for this guy. Something's happening for him. Do you know what I mean? So to be, because I didn't think he's a gangster or anything like that. I didn't want to portray like, he's a gangster and he's a nutcase. But he's just someone that don't care. And I know lots of people like that in them situations where, you know, when I was growing up, that, you know, there's people that, you know, there's just that one person that don't really care. He might not have much, and then but he don't care what his consequences are, but he's a good person. And, you know, he's willing to help people out, but he's just, something inside of him is not right.
The essence of this film is the friendship of the three characters. Three people that would never normally really associate with each other, but the world of the bookies pulls them together. And you can't help but siphon from each other something that makes you bond and feel close. And that very much came across, not just by way of the characters, but also as actors, as people that were playing these characters. That we gelled in a sense that we listened very carefully, not just within the film, but outside of the film as well. And for me, those relationships were crucial in bringing the characters across on screen.
We're talking about three guys that really have fuck all. They've got nothing, have they? I mean, what they do have is the bookies, and within the bookies they have a close-knitted situation which they feel very, very comfortable around, you know? So anything outside that is almost not alien to them, but this is what they feel. This is where they feel most comfortable. They feel at home there, you know. And it's a very, very sad thing to think about. These three, you know, and they're three totally different characters that outside the bookies you would never ever cross in paths. They would never cross paths, would they? They just would not cross paths. You've got Yiannis, look at him. Yiannis is the, how would you put it? The voice of reason. Yiannis is the voice of reason. Tommy is going through a really difficult time, and obviously, I mean, I'll leave it up to you guys when you watch the movie, but Tommy's in a very dark place. Yiannis is the voice of reason, and Ian is just, they look after him. And that was almost sort of what I saw in my role. Like, they looked after me, and they cared about me, and they nurtured me. And, you know, you got Yiannis talking to me, this is what you should do, don't get yourself into these positions, all that, these situations, whatever. And I think through that, we found something that was just so really, really special.
You've got to be strong to survive hell, and even stronger if you want to get out. There's no room for weakness on the road to success.
Oh, fuck off, you fucking mug. You fucking shit your pants, man.
No, fucking never.
Fucking did.
Didn't you?
Well, you did pants it a bit, mate.
Fucking pants it, bro.
Why don't you run through him?
Fuck off, Jan. I fucking run through you, bro.
What if your fucking old man would have done if that happened to him, man?
Did I fucking kick the shit out of him, bro?
Exactly.
I know, alright. I fucking know. Just leave it, bro.
You need to fucking man
Fuck
up,
off.
man.
I do love like doing plays in the theatre, and you sort of you build relationships quite quickly because you're working with people all day, and you're rehearsing, and that's how it felt for me in a way, that like we was together each day, and we sort of just built up that relationship where you know, where we became actually quite friends as well as colleagues. And no, I mean, it was good. We just shared them for, I think it was about 5 weeks. So you really got to like the people you're working with. And I was lucky enough to get on with them straight from the beginning, from the first read through.
It's something that, the funny thing, I remember the first reading, I turned up with the script and the boys turned up with 2 iPads. That's how the new actors work. They've got their iPads and they scroll through their scripts in that way. But there was something about the chemistry when we got together, especially first over the set. I think we were all a bit nervous because we didn't know, okay, how is it going to be shot? How is the director going to work with us? How are we going to create these relationships off the bat now? We've sat down at home with the scripts, we've had an idea to think about the characters, but now we're going to put the ingredients together in a bowl and make this cake. But it just started working, and no one had to make a conscious effort to say, I've got to force myself to do it in this way or that way. Whatever it was within the chemistry just happened, and I think listening had a lot to do with that. Spencer Tracy always quoted that, the art of acting is listening. And I think between us that was very true.
Get us a table upstairs, would you, Ian?
I guess a cheeseburger then.
I'll go up and get one, eh?
Go on.
Take your time.
I'll get these, yeah.
You ain't won anything yet, so don't act like the big shot in your last score. It's all right, I'll get these. 2 king meals and a kid's box meal, please, darling.
I hope that's the feeling it will give to the audience, that they will relate to the characters and follow the story through and see how these characters and how the situation develops. And of course, something that Tommy would have touched on when you spoke is the fact that we were very much on set every single day for 5 weeks with each other. We had to get on. Luckily we did. We didn't force ourselves, we just did. And it was a great pleasure to have that as a luxury that we loved. We loved turning up on set every day. I can't say, and hand on heart, I don't think any of us feel any differently. We looked forward to getting up and turning up on set every single morning, and we didn't care what time it was that we were going to finish and go home, as long as we did our job and that we enjoyed the day. And there were moments when there were downs as well, when things didn't go quite right. And then other actors will come in as sort of guest appearances for little scenes here and there. And they revive it slightly because we get a different energy coming in. But they will come and they will go. But as the 3 that were there all the time, I don't think I could have asked for anything to have been any different.
Do you believe in God, Jan?
Okay.
Well,
1 liquor book of glory.
it's a little deep for a
1
queuing
burger
conversation.
meal, and 1 coffee.
Do you?
Yeah, I'll be ready in 5 minutes.
Well,
Bye.
I kind of have my own interpretation.
Go on. Let's hear it.